what do you suggest as a markup on cost of goods sold? We were told 45%. Elisa, do you mean for a service industry like yours and mine? Or do you mean a different industry? Because the markup on cost of goods sold is tremendously industry specific. So because you didn't specify, I'm assuming a service firm like yours or mine, but let's see what you have to say. There's a 13-second delay in Facebook Live, so tick, tick, tick. I know, I actually sat and counted this once. In case Elisa is no longer with us, I'm going to take a guess and say a service industry, but product or service. Okay, so it really depends on the industry, because, for example, like groceries are notorious for being a low margin industry, like 2-3%. And that's why grocery stores have to sell so much. If they're gonna buy, now I'm gonna make numbers up, but you'll see what I'm talking about. If they buy an apple for $1, they can only really sell it for $1.10. So they have to sell a freaking ton of apples in order to make any money, like just to keep the lights on. So that's also why mom and pop grocery stores, they charge so much, because the margins are just so slim, because there's only so much you can charge for food. Like, what, are you going to give a pedicure or something while somebody's doing their groceries? Like, wait, you still have some stuff between your toes. Like, wait right there, hold on, stop at the tofu. Yeah, so for example, in groceries, the margins are super slim, but in service industries, the margins are a lot wider. And also in industries that are technology based, it's a totally different model altogether. So for example, if you have put in a lot of money into designing a piece of technology and then you sell subscriptions on a monthly basis, the margin, the markup from cost of goods sold to your gross revenue is huge. I mean, absolutely astronomical, because all the cash that you put on in the front end, that's been like expensed through research and development. And then once you built your software that you can now sell, that goes on your balance sheet. It's an entirely different part of the financial statements altogether. And so the stuff that goes in cost of goods sold is practically nothing. I mean, it's like merchant service fees on the credit cards that your customers are paying you for their monthly subscription fees. And then you get into like a more, let's say, a more human-oriented service industry. And that's where we have things like 45%. This says that you were told 45%. That's not unreasonable for a service industry. That is close to what our margins are. Our margins are 55% in our firm. And there are actually a lot of firms that have even higher margins than that in a service industry. But you know, that's pretty good for a ballpark for a service industry. But yeah, products can be all over the place. And part of the factor is it depends on, right? There's what the market will bear, the extent to which there's something unique in your product, and whether the extent to which that uniqueness is perceived, if anything else is bundled with your product. You know, those are also all good considerations.